Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, so in this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to set up the skeleton of the program, just kind of the base stuff we need just to get a program running. This is kind of generic. It goes along with any program that you're going to write pretty much for. We're going to do Windows. I'll talk about that later. Now you'll notice down here I've got two versions of Visual Studio open right now. One of them is kind of my scrap version that I've got off screen that I'm going to refer to. That's pretty much the only notes I have for this one. I didn't really write out any notes for this, so we're just going to kind of play it by ear. So the first thing I'm going to do, guys, and I'm if I remember where this is, I think it's under Tools, Options, and Environment, General. There it is, Color Theme. I'm going to change this over to dark, just because I have an easier time reading white on black rather than white or black on blue or black on white or anything like that. For me, this is more readable, and I can see the colors better. So okay, so there you go. There's your first change. So we want to start a new project. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to start up a brand new project. Now you're going to have, okay, if you haven't gotten C# or sorry, C++ yet, you're going to have to go down to Online. Give it a second, and then Visual C++ is what you're going to grab. And then just use this, I think, to start things up. I don't think we want anything down here. I'm trying to find the exact one that I was going to use. Anyway, what I think you might have to do is, it'll just be this, and you have to hit download. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, in any event, make sure you've got C++ downloaded, because it doesn't come default with the compiler, like I said in the last episode. Okay, anyway, once you've installed it, installed templates, there you go, there's your C++. So you've got some options here, various flavors of Win32 projects for Windows. I mean, all this ATL stuff, general, Microsoft Foundation class, Win32 project, a console application. That's all fine and well. I like, personally, when I do projects, I like to use an empty project. And why do I do that? Because that way I know exactly what is in the project, because it starts out empty, and anything that's in there, I put in there. I find that if I use like the Win32 project or something, there's a bunch of junk in there that it puts in, and I end up ripping it all back out anyway, and anything that's left I have to recode anyway, because it's not where I want it and all that kind of stuff. So personally, I just like to do empty projects. So let's go to a location. So I'm going to go in here. This is my game recordings folder, the game engine and engine code. I'm going to select this folder right here. You can, of course, if you're going to follow along, you can use any folder that you want. We need to name the project. So let's just call it game engine. That's fine. We'll create a directory. That's all good. Hit OK. And we'll wait for that to come in. And there you go. So it sets up a few folders for you, but you notice there's nothing in any of these, which is exactly the way I like to have it. Okay. All right. So here we go. We got an empty folder. Now this is this is where you get into the blank page syndrome. This is where writers get stuck, because there's this big intimidating blank space, right? So let's put something in there. Let's go ahead and put file. Let's see. No, let's go to project, add class. We're going to add a class. The class that I think I want to add is, it's going to be a C++ class, obviously. So we'll just hit add. It's going to ask us for the name. I'm going to call this WinBase. WinBase. And the reason I'm calling it that is because in case, in the future, we might want to be able to port this easily over to other operating systems like Apple, Macintosh, or Linux, or whatever it happens to be. All we should have to do is create a new base for it, right? So that's the idea. I'm not saying we're going to do that right away, but that's the idea. Okay, so you can see that it's put some stuff in for me. No, I've got my brackets set up, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's under Tools, Options, Text Editor, C++, and then Formatting. Probably also, I got the tab size set at 4. I keep tabs, I don't change them into spaces. Let's see, I think under Formatting, if we do indentation, there it is right there. So by setting these things in here, this is where you can change stuff, right? Like such. I mean, you know, there's different things in here, and it'll show you kind of what things look like, right? So align, not aligned, one indent to the left, leave indented. Those are preprocessor directives. New lines, position of close braces, this kind of stuff, spacing and wrapping, and all this kind of stuff will give you the format that you want. I'm going to hit cancel. I don't want to mess with that. And it takes a little bit of playing around with, but it'll give you the effect that you want. Okay, so you can see it automatically starts off by adding in our constructor and destructor with a base class right here, right? And we got a pragma once in here. Used to be you used to put if defs at the top of a function to make sure that the headers only got called or only got included once. Now they've got a pragma for it, which is nice. Okay, yes. So what do we want to do here? I'm going to go ahead and go to project. We're going to add, let's see, I'm going to add a file. Add new item. There we go. We're going to add a header file. Just a header, not a class, just a header. And it named it header, so let's change that. I'll hit F2. We'll change it to, we'll change this to EngineBase. Okay, so this is going to be kind of the if you know C++ at all, there's commonly a header file called what's it called? It's standard fx. It's stdfx.h. This is going to be the equivalent of that. Okay, this is where I'm going to be putting in my I don't know, my commonly used headers. All right. So first of all, I'm going to define win32 lean and mean. That's just a very common thing that I put in. It just keeps the win32 kind of reasonable. The libraries that you add. Okay, so what we're going to need for this is to include windows.h. All right, let's save that. And that's not how you spell include. There we go. Okay. So then typically what I will do is in the WinBase, I'll come in here and I'll put in my include EngineBase.h. Gotta put quotes around that, and you've got to, yeah, like such. Okay, so we're good. If we try to run, I think we'll get an error because there's no win main. Yeah. No. So there's no entry point. But there's our kind of very basic skeleton. So we'll put in our commonly used includes here, and then we'll include the EngineBase at the top of all of our header files, unless they don't need any of these things. And we've got a pragma once in here just to make sure it only comes in one time. That way, we don't have to worry about multiple includes. We don't want that. Okay. So for the WinBase, we don't actually want a class called WinBase. So I'm going to delete this out. We don't want the class of WinBase. What we do want, let's see, in the header file, we're going to need to define the entry point. I think I'm going to put this in a namespace just to prevent any clashing. And I'll just call it game engine. So that's just to prevent any clashes that might occur from other libraries. We're not going to include too many third-party libraries, but we do have all this, where'd it go? This stuff that we're going to put in, like windows.h. So, you know, usually it's pretty good about not clashing, but just in case, I'm gonna do that. All right, I think we're in good shape. I like to include this kind of comment line in front of functions in various places. That way I can easily find the functions that I'm looking for, or I'm looking for the end of a function. I know where it ends. It's easy to see. Okay, so let's put in our WinAppy. This is our entry point. So int, now guys, I don't have any of this memorized. You think I would, because I've done it a million times, but agents instance, I don't know that we're going to need these. str, yeah, that's fine. And the last one is int. Okay, there you go. There's our starting point. Now the program should run. Oh no, it shouldn't, because I didn't define this. Oh no, it did. So there you go. It's just that easy. Okay, let's go ahead and define it in here. We don't actually have to, but it doesn't hurt. Okay. Like such. Okay, very good. So there you go. There's our global entry point. We probably should have gotten a warning. No, we didn't. It's interesting. Let's return 0. We should return an integer, and I'm not sure why it wasn't giving us a warning there. Probably should have. So there you go. The program has edited with code 0. So there you go. We edited with code 0. Very nice. All right. So no errors, no warnings. Very good. All right. So we got our WinBase. There you go. Very easy. Okay, guys. So I'm just going to put in the standard stuff. You guys, if you're familiar with Windows programming, you know where I'm going with this. So I'm going to say the message pump. So we're going to go ahead and handle the Windows messages. So let's do that. All true. If peak message. Let's see, a reference to the message. We'll just call it message. So the h1 will be null. These will be 0, 0, and the remove message will be PM remove. Oops, didn't catch it. Remove. Okay. So it doesn't like that because I don't have message defined. So let's do that. And I think it's just should just be MSG. So I know all this is kind of cryptic. Hopefully you guys, oh, there's no semicolon on the end of that, are at least reasonably familiar with Windows programming and you know what I'm doing here. This kind of stuff is just boilerplate. Don't stress too much if you haven't really got a handle on it. So if msg.message equals wm quit, then break. We'll break out of that infinite loop that we set up right here, this while loop, this infinite loop. Otherwise, we will do like such. Translate message. Then a reference to the message. And dispatch message. Gotta remember to hit that. Reference to the message. And there you go. So if there's a message waiting, it'll do all this stuff. Now, what I like to do in my Windows programs is put an else function in here and tell it to sleep, for 1 cycle. The reason being is if you don't put in that else sleep thing, your CPU will hit 100% usage. By putting in the sleep 1, you in fact will not hit 100% usage, and other things can do stuff. What's wrong here? Oh, not enough. Not enough parentheses. There we go. Got rid of our errors. Okay. And also, actually, this is where we will put out our main engine functions right here. So Windows messages will get priority, and then our functions will get next priority. There is a little bit of a problem with that setup. If the Windows messages are kind of out of your control, right? Windows messages are things like if the user moves the window or scrolls or even moves the mouse, it'll cause messages to pile into the message pump. And then it'll go through this until there's no more, and then it'll do your engine stuff, right? Which could cause some lag in your engine stuff. But in actual fact, this doesn't usually go off so much that it actually causes any problems down here. If we find we're having lag issues, then we might come back and look at this, modify it. But for right now, I don't want to get too complicated with it. I mean, there's ways to get around that, like multi-threading and or even dropping the function up in here. Under certain circumstances, you can put your engine functions up in the message pump itself, but that gets a little bit dangerous because, of course, if you don't have a message, then yeah, and then there's sometimes when you want messages to fire off one after the other and without your engine stuff running in between, and so yeah, it gets a little bit complicated. So for right now, just to keep it simple, I'm going to keep it like such. Okay, that's it. That's really all we need. So if I were to run this, it would go into an infinite loop, and there would be no way to break out of it because there's no way to generate a WM quit message. WM quit messages are usually generated when you hit the little X button, like at this little button up here. That if I hit that right now, a WM quit message would be generated. Or even if I hit file exit. But since we don't have a window, we can't really do that, can we? So yeah. All right, let's quickly write the skeleton of our callback function. So let me see if I can remember how to do this. I'll have to look at my other scrap function. So we're going to do a Windows procedure function that'll handle the messages. Okay, so there's an HWND, there's a uint, there's a hparam, and there's an lparam. Okay. It doesn't like that. Oh, because they're sorry. Hparam should be capitalized. It still doesn't like that. Why not? Oh. So, wparam. I don't know why I'm putting an H. It's a W. Wparam and lparam. All right, there you go. Now it likes it. All right, so let's grab that function. This is our callback. So let's just grab our divider. There you go. All right. And you know what? I think I want to put in here using namespace. What did I call it? Game engine. Okay. So we're good. We're good. Save all that. Okay, so the callback function. This is the one that's actually going to handle our Windows messages. And there's no link right now between this and this yet, but there will be soon. Soon. Let's see. What do I want to put in here for right now? Okay, let's fill in these parameters. WND, that's the message itself. Oh, sorry, that's the window. This is the message. So this is the window that sent the message. This is the message it's handling. And then there's two parameters that go on that, wparam and lparam. I should say this is not my normal method of naming parameters, but this is so commonly done that I just follow the usual procedure. I mean, you see this all over the place. So I'm going to put in a switch here. Message. And let's see. Oh gosh. Let's deal with the return first. Return. Default window proc. And then WND, message, wparam, lparam. Okay. Okay, so what does that do? So there's a function that handles Windows messages kind of in a default way. If we don't handle them ourselves, this is where it'll fall to. And then, so if you drag a window, for instance, it'll handle window dragging just the way you would expect. Unless I override it in here and tell it to do something besides the default. And so that's what this is all about. Now I'm going to put in here case wm destroy. Now that I don't like. Why are you doing that? Don't indent my case functions, please. Okay, let's just put this in. I'll post quit message. I don't know why I keep wanting to do that. Post quit message with a parameter of 0, the exit code of 0. There you go. And then I don't want it to fall down, so we'll just return 0. Okay. All right. Pretty good. Pretty good. I think that's all I really need there. Really, guys, we shouldn't need much in WinProc. This is not going to be not so much like one of your default Windows programs where you're handling a lot of stuff in the WinProc procedure. Really, we're going to put up a window, and we're pretty much going to let Windows handle the window. We don't want to handle much in here. We're going to be dealing with other stuff. So, all right. I think we're fine here. Okay, guys. So we could run this right now. And like I said, it's just going to go into an infinite loop, right? Because there's no way. Yeah, see, game engine running. And you can see it's building up memory. Interesting. I mean, you know, there's no way to destroy it right now, so we'll stop debugging. I mean, you can destroy it through the Microsoft Visual Studio window, but if I were to actually run this from the outside, there would actually be no way to kill it without going through the task manager. So yeah. But let's go ahead and fix that. I'm going to go ahead and go into project, and we're going to add a new class. And I wanted a C++ class, add. And I'm going to call this, I'm going to call it the control window, being the main window, right? So we'll do that. So yeah. So underneath the pragma, I'm going to put in include EngineBase. Oh, sorry. Include EngineBase like such. EngineBase.h. That's what I meant. Okay. Then in here we're going to say using namespace game engine. Sorry, that's not a preprocessor directive. Why don't you like that? Okay, so let's do that. So we'll put in the namespace space game engine. Drop this in like such. There you go, and then that should be happy, and there you go. Very nice. Okay guys, so yeah, there's our kind of our initial outline for the control window. So the control window is our main window, right? It's the one that if you destroy is the one that's going to terminate the program. So I'm going to put a function in here. We need to be able to create the window, and you don't want to do it in the constructor because that might be too early. So let's go void create control window and void destroy control window. I want to be able to create or destroy this window. So let's go ahead and drop those in. Okay, why are you being a pain in my butt? Stop it. All right, there we go. And just to be consistent, let's put in our separators so I can easily see where these functions start and stop. All right. So to create a control window in Windows, and again, guys, this is just all boilerplate stuff, and don't feel bad if you don't really know what's going on here. I don't think anybody outside of Microsoft entirely knows what's going on here. So we're going to go, hang on a second, what do I want to do here? I need to set up the parameters for the window. So to do that, we need a window class. So let's go WND class EX, and I'll just call this window class. And we're going to keep it simple for the moment. So I'm just going to say wc.cbl size equals size of WND class EX. We got to put the size of the size of the structure into the CB size portion. The style. I'm going to set this equal to CS H redraw. We'll OR it with CS vertical redraw. And we'll OR that with, whoops, what's happening here? Sorry, I hit the wrong button. We'll OR that with, we'll be able to handle double clicks, DB double clicks. And we'll OR that with, CS will have its own DC. Don't worry too much about that. There's other stuff we could put in there, and we may modify that later on, but those are kind of the basics. Okay. wc.l long pointer to window proc. This is where we connect the window proc to the main function. Equals wnd proc. Now this might error. Whoops. This may error on us. We're getting an error here. It's over here. This is the function that we want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this. I'm going to go into ControlWindow.h. I'm going to go underneath. Do I want to go underneath the namespace? I may want to. Let's try it inside though first. Extern. Semicolon. Let's see if it likes that. Yeah, it likes that. So what I've just told it is that this particular procedure is somewhere external. Just to let it know that it exists. Okay. Now, if the linker doesn't find it, it'll complain, but the linker should find it. It's right there. So we should be good. In fact, let's go ahead and build solution. Let's see if we get any errors. I don't think we should. No, we did. Okay, it doesn't like it there. We might have to pull that out from under the namespace. Let's try that. Whoop. Wrong button. There we go. There we go. That likes that. I guess I can't put that inside the namespace. So let's finish filling out the rest of this form. Let's see. We want CBCLS extra. This we can just set to 0. We don't want anything extra. CBWND extra. Same thing. We don't need that. What other things are in this? So the instance. Instance. Okay. That's going to error on us because I don't have the parameter. So let's put a parameter in here. Instance. We need to pass this parameter in. And it's going to need to put that inside the here. Okay, that should be fine. Okay. We'll need to pass this H instance, which is created over in WinBase, right here in WinMain. So we are going to need to set that up and pass it over. But we'll do that in a minute. Let's finish filling out this structure first. Again, guys, don't worry too much about the members of this. You can look up this WinClass EX if you want to. This is all just kind of, again, boilerplate stuff. Load icon. Null and IDI application. wc.hCursor. Load cursor. Null IDI dot arrow. Let's just use the arrow. Again, all kind of standard stuff. This is all stuff you can change. If you want a different cursor, if you want a different icon for the window, all that kind of stuff. Let's see, what's the next one? HBR background equals. Okay, this needs to be cast to an H brush. I'm using a C style cast there. I don't love that. Stock up. Gosh darn it. I wish I would stop doing that. Get stock object. CK gray brush. Let's make it gray because that's what I like to do. Okay, guys. I don't love what's going on here. This is a C style cast, and it's just an area of code that I haven't actually fixed before. Try to keep away from those. Let's do a C++ cast. Static cast, HBrush, get stop object. Break like such. That should do it. Okay, there you go. That's better. I like that better. Okay, that's good. We're almost done here. Let's get a couple more. WC dot LP menu name, I think, is the next one I want, right? The menu name, I'm just going to put set to null pointer. WC dot LPSC class name equals. This is where I could use a string. Okay, let's just do this. Game engine. We'll fix this later on. Version 0.1a for alpha. I'll change that later. But for right now, just to keep it simple, just to keep things kind of moving along here, H icon SM equals, we'll do another load icon, null, comma, IDI application. Here. Do Don't know why I didn't pick that up. Fine, I'll type it out. See if I care. Okay. So let's go ahead and say fill in the class attributes for the main control window. That's not how you spell window. There you go. All right, that's good. Now let's register the window. Control window. So for this is just a simple function call register class EX is what we want. This one right here. And then just a reference to the structure that we just filled out. And there you go. It's registered. And I think that should all be all we need. Let's go ahead and show window. I did it again. I don't know why I can't figure out how to do that. That's me being away from a compiler for a couple of years. That's what's going on there. Oh, you know what? I'm missing a step. That's all right. Control window handle comma command true. Actually, show the window. We didn't create it. We registered it, but we didn't create it. Create the window. I'm just going to make this super easy. We can come back in here a little bit later. Tell you what. Let's just copy this. Control window handle equals. So create window extended. That's what that EX means. So the style, or the extended style. None for right now. Let's just keep it simple. Okay, for the class name, we're going to say wc.lp. I think we can do this. Class name, see if it likes that. Seems to be okay with that. Window name, same thing. lpsc class name. Okay, and then some styles. So I'm going to go with my usual styles. Thick frame. We'll OR in window style. Minimize box, and we'll also give it. We'll give it a sys menu. That's this menu right up here, guys. Maybe I'm wrong. So there's your minimize box. This particular thing doesn't have one, but there's usually there it is. Yeah, it's here. So that's your system menu box. Okay, we'll give it one of those. Oh, not done yet. Okay, so X and Y, just say 0, 0. Width and height, for right now, just again, to keep it simple, well, not that big, 500 by 500. It will have no parent. For now, we won't have a H menu. Instance, we'll put in the instance. And no LP param is necessary. Okay, so that's the control window handle. I'm going to put that, let's go back here in the class itself. Sorry, private hwmd control window handle. There you go, like such. That should make that happy. No, I just put it in. I just put it in. Why are you not? What's up here? Oh, duh. I forgot to put in the the class. Sorry, my bad. There we go. Okay, we should double check this for errors. Unfortunately, I don't have an error handler yet. So if control window handle equals null pointer, what are we going to do? some, let's just return post quit message -1. For right now, I'm just going to put in a quick -1 to tell us that there was an error, because I don't have an error handler yet, right? So for the moment, we can just drop in -1 out of there. This -1 will pop over to here, where it'll handle the quit message, and then it'll drop down into our little thingy where it says, oh, it got changed. Well, whatever. It'll tell us what the exit code is, right? We've already seen that. I will probably need the DC of this window. Get DC control window handle. Don't worry too much about what this is. We'll probably need it later. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab it right here. So this is why we said up here own DC, because we will need to reference that from time to time, I think. Okay. Alrighty, guys. That's pretty good. Now, so in the destroy control window, we want to say release DC. We want to release our DC, and that requires the control window handle again. Again, I'm forgetting to put in the, oh boy, just a couple of years outside of a compiler, this is what happens. And then the DC itself. So we'll just release that DC that we grabbed, and then we'll say destroy window. And then just the control window handle. Okay, I think we are good. That should be fine. So let's go back to WinBase. Let's modify this and say control window dot. Now this is going to error on us, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and call that destroy window control window. Like such. Okay, guys. I think I'm going to stop right here. We don't quite have a window up yet. We're really pretty close, but the next step is going to involve instantiating the control window class. Now, there's a little bit of a dilemma in doing this, and I've just realized that I better go through this in a little more detail as to what I'm going to do with that and why I'm going to do it. This is kind of one of the dangers of doing this without a script. I was intending to get to the point where we had an actual window up and we could start the program and have a window and then close it again, but we kind of hit the snag. So normally when we have classes and we have a design video in front of this sort of thing shouldn't happen, but in this particular instance, because I'm just kind of coding this on the fly, I've run into this little bit of an issue here. And it's not a huge big deal, but it's just it's a thing where we have to really kind of decide how we're going to handle instantiation of high-level classes, of high-level systems, really, which the control window is definitely one of the high-level systems. There's various ways to do it, and there's various schools of thought, and we better talk about it, otherwise people are going to second guess it, and they may anyway, because you may not agree with my approach, but yeah, I'll at least explain why I'm going to go with the system that I'm going to go with. Okay. All right, so we'll stop here, and in the next video we'll go over that. We're really close to having a window up. It shouldn't take long. I'm just going to go over an explanation of the various options that we have and why I picked the one that I picked, and then we'll go ahead and implement it. It shouldn't take long at all for us to have a window up on the screen. Okay, guys, so we'll stop here, and we'll pick this back up in the next video, so I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot.